How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to talk about the toxicity about consistent new gear and reviews. So let's jump right into it. Lately, it seems like we consistently keep getting new gear and all these new reviews when it comes down to basically just new cameras, computers, iPhones, phones, and all that stuff. And sometimes I feel like it's a little bit just too much. As a smaller content creator here on YouTube, it's harder to always kind of keep up with the new trends when it comes down to the gear because you're not always getting the same type of attention that you're getting with the bigger accounts to get those gears to just actually put them to the test and not just simply talk about them. And I totally understand why they get the gear before everybody else, but I do understand sometimes with the growth that you're trying to create for yourself as a smaller content creator, it's a little bit just tiring and overwhelming because you're trying to find creative ways to review a certain gear that you don't even have with you and talk about the things that you want to talk about, to cover certain things that could help out with trending subjects to grow your channel as well. I just sometimes find it a little bit tiring seeing all the creators get their reviews put out at the same time, and it's hard to keep up with everything that comes up when it comes down to all the new pieces of gear. Like for example, recently with the A7 IV, at the same time when it came out, every YouTuber out there was putting their review about what they like, what they didn't like, hands-on reviews, which is great because it's a subject that I'm actually interested in myself. But at the same time, it sometimes feels a little bit toxic because it just seems that companies nowadays just really care about just pushing out the gear onto the biggest YouTubers out there, no matter, in a sense, I guess, if they care about the product so much that it just doesn't seem genuine anymore to me. And with that said, for me, I honestly still love these kind of products, obviously, so it's something that I'm looking into when it comes down to the reviews of them. So it does obviously broaden the horizons to get more of one perspective, but depending on who you're going with and the marketing that the company's kind of providing for that product, you might get something genuine, or it just could be something that is paid for and it's just kind of toxic in my opinion, because it's just reviewing for what the company is paying you to review and you can say. There's some content creator that they even tell you up front, it's like they're not paying me anything, they only provided the product itself, and I'm able to just talk about what I like and don't like, genuinely free of concern. They don't have any say in it, which is something that I truly enjoy, and that's something that I kind of want to, I guess, compare about what it can be toxic versus actually genuine good information. There's a content creator that I really enjoy named Gerald Undone. He does pretty great reviews when it comes down to the actual gear and just information when it comes down to these new and updates of computers, or like the phones and cameras, lenses, and tells you more the spec side and I guess the nerdy stuff that not many people really care about all the time. But for his channel growth, I think it's done phenomenal, and to me it just makes sense to be able to kind of hire him to talk about the product, whether you're gonna be liking what he says or not. When it comes down to other kind of YouTubers that I see that they're like, let's say travel vloggers or anything like that, sometimes to me it just seems a little bit forced, and that's why lately I just kind of been hesitant about what I want to do when it comes down to reviews, because I do enjoy reviewing gear that I have personally bought or that I'm genuinely interested in to buy. A lot of the times I feel like a lot of people get those mixed up, that I'm just reviewing something that might be trendy, which obviously those help out when it comes down to your growth for your channel because more people will see them, but it also kind of takes away from how genuine is everything and how toxic is it or not when it comes down to a review of a product or anything that comes out. And like I said, every year we get a new MacBook, a new iPhone, a new sort of update of a lens, a new camera, a new everything. So sometimes there's just so much noise going on that it genuinely feels like most of these companies have put us in the, I call it the Apple model, where they give you just enough of the right things but not everything that you would want in the product already. It's kind of like easing your way to get to it. Like for example, the A7 IV. In my personal opinion, I thought that it should have had 4K 120, but not a 10-bit like the Sony a7S III has, mainly because you don't want to just obviously make your other products not sell enough, but you're also wanting to put out the products that are going to have longevity and have people want to keep consuming when it comes down to having more camera bodies, for example, that last them longer. And I know as a company you want to maximize your profits and your shareholders and everything in between, but at the same time I feel as a company I would want to have the best of the best product out there that people would still be buying despite of not having always every single year an upgrade, let's say, or even recently like the a7 IV, it took about 4-ish years maybe. But with the specs that the a7 IV has after so long, it should have been a little bit more wowing because of the things that have already been put out there. So that for me, it just seems like it's always wanting to be a never-ending cycle of constant products that are coming out to be reviewed, and it's just that toxic vibe to me that it's just like we just want to keep you hooked enough but not give you everything you deserve to a certain degree. So for me, that's a bit of a hassle when it comes down to being a smaller YouTube creator, because if you want to test out these products to even keep up with the demand of all these new reviews and all these new updates and products, you have to either spend all this money yourself, or I guess you can maybe work a deal with a local camera shop and see if they can lend you the products to review, or if you can rent it out yourself. But it's a cost that is just kind of crazy to me, that it's just, to me, it's just tiring mentally to always try to review gear. Because even on my channel, like if I put something with a certain lens, the video will do better than just maybe this video that I know probably won't get as much views, or just something of if I wouldn't even put the title or what I'm using for, like what kind of lens or something like that, because most people obviously want to know how good a certain gear is, because I feel like we've been put on that pedestal that we have to always be continuously flowing with that. So it kind of sucks, but at the same time I totally understand it, which me personally, I would love to be in the shoes of most of these YouTube creators that get to review the products, because I genuinely enjoy learning what I like about certain products, what I don't like about them, and then use them to my advantage to, you know, is it going to help me out? Will it help you out? And that's one of the reasons why I even make the reviews that I do, despite not being sometimes the most newest gear or the best of the best, but it's just because I genuinely like the product itself and want to see if it's helpful for me, it could be helpful for you. So hopefully you as a consumer, it won't be so overwhelming when it comes down to just seeing all the new gear and realizing that even buying gear that's 4 to 5 years old with the technology that it has, it's not horrible to be still getting. A lot of people tend to ask me if I should get the a7 III nowadays because it's older, but I tell them that in reality it's still a phenomenal camera, that it just does so much for the budget that you shouldn't be basically shying away from it just because all this new gear is coming out until your skills develop enough that you need it. It's taking me a long time to even upgrade my camera to the a7S III right now that I have, and pre-ordering the a7 IV for the stuff that I need personally for this channel, for client work, for my businesses, that I think it's worth the investment. I'm not going to go out and tell people to go buy a $3,500 camera or a $2,500 camera or even a $2,000 camera if they've never even tried anything with more professional looking photography. Like I usually tell people, go get an A6000. I started with that one and it's phenomenal when it comes down to basically the specs that it is for the price point. So don't always get kind of caught up in the never-ending cycle of, well, it's the new gear, it must be the best thing out there, but it's just a marketing tactic that it doesn't matter personally every single time, so that you have to always get the new gear. So for me personally, it's the best gear is what works for your budget and for yourself, that you're going to be using consistently, whether it's $3,500, whether it's $1,500 or $500 of an investment. But that's just my opinion when it comes down to everything of this. I'm always curious to know, do you enjoy watching the review, like products, the videos that people put out and all those like kind of launch dates whenever like a new certain gear comes out that every YouTuber posts about? Or do you kind of get a little bit over it and it's find it a little bit toxic now when it comes down to the how genuine it can be, or if it's just more like just typical marketing? I'm always curious to know, because a lot of the times when it comes to this kind of talks, people tend to not see that it's just marketing, and they think it's a genuine thing that those YouTubers are just like, well, this is the best product, but then forget that they might be getting paid for it or something along those lines. So let me know down below your thoughts on if you're tired of these reviews and just kind of overseeing them, or do you enjoy actually watching them and seeing the different perspective minds, and you don't find it toxic at all now. But that's just my opinion when it comes down to everything. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, and leaving your thoughts down below. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.